Hello, everyone. I know it's late as hell and everyone's asleep, and I'm really hoping tonight's audience is three bots, three Russian trolls, one Tesla troll, and three people disgruntled that I blocked 6 years ago. That's the audience I'm going for. So let's do this shit. Hello, Dennis. Good to see you. Always. Again, I didn't think anything can shock me. This is really a contest of how low can you go. I told you people this before. In the MAGA crowd, the popular MAGA superstars in government and elsewhere, they're all vying for the attention of Donnie shitbags in whatever vile way they can think of. Why? Because they know what Donnie shitbags is. He's vile, personified. So they know what gets his attention. The more cruel you are, the more disgusting you are, the more outrageous you are. That gets Donnie shitbags attention in MAGA circus world. And there are certain individuals, about 4 or 5, under 10, that want to be his choice for vice president. So they're really pushing it. But I'll get more into that later. This behavior is so sickening to me. The fact that people are willing to go to these lengths, but you know what? It's not a surprise. I've seen it all throughout my adult life, from the second I got the fuck out of high school, right into a job at the casinos, and all the jobs I had after that were the same exact pattern over and over and over again. I watched as different people stabbed each other in the back, stabbed me in the back, whatever they had to do for an extra day off, a raise, a promotion, whatever, or for no reason at all. Maybe they just didn't like you. That's the workplace, no matter what country you're in. Politics there as well. So this, on the national level, on the global level, these people that are famous and popular and in high government positions, it doesn't surprise me that they're willing to sell their soul and stab people in the back and do bad things. But some people take it to whole new realms of disgustingness. So I told you this was a contest between these mass superstars, right-wing grifters that have the podcasts and all that shit. It's a contest every day. Who can say the most outrageous, vile thing and get the most attention? Because they all have podcasts, or they have a Twitter page or something. They want attention drawn to something that they're doing, so eventually they can make money from it. Fame, money, power, the same thing that, everyone sells people out for. There's a woman named Kristi Noem. I mentioned her the other day, and the other day, a story about Kristi Noem has come out. Now, Kristi's been trying to be the apple of Donnie shitbag's eye for a while. She's one of the ones that wants to be vice president, wants to be on that ticket with Donnie shitbag. So she's, again, one of the ones that's going extra lengths here. So the other day, a story came out, everyone heard about it, that this Kristi Noem person, governor of South Dakota, for fuck's sake, and I don't know what's wrong with you people in South Dakota that you voted this in. I'm sorry. There's no excuse for it. Fuck off. Anyway, so she's the governor of South Dakota. The other day, the story comes out, she shoots a puppy that she has because she doesn't like the puppy. These are the words in her book. I'm paraphrasing. She doesn't like the puppy. It's not a good hunting dog, etc., etc. Not it was old and it needed to be put down. It was a mercy killing. And we know farmers and rural folk that have livestock and animals. Sometimes you got to put down an animal. We know that out here in the big city. Okay, I'm not an idiot. I know that. We know that. We get that. That's not what happened here. And she says it in her book. And the editors the publishers didn't even say, hey, maybe you want to leave that out. Nope. Didn't even say the shit, just printed it. And that's another good point before I get into this. I told you I published a book years ago. I told you if I wrote in that book I was the second coming of Jesus Christ, that publisher would have published it. This book here, what's in here, proves my point in fucking spades. The things that are in this book, the fact that it got through the process and was just published and believed, didn't matter what the claims were, proves my motherfucking point. So when scumbag families put a book out in the future, and you know who I'm talking about, the people that have been here a long time, when they put a book out in the future, yeah, I guess I can't believe a word of it, right? Because here's an example right here, what we're going to go into, of a claim that was made that is utterly false, easily provably false. Yet she states it in her book, and they publish it. Anyway, so the story the other day, she shoots this puppy because she's a cruel, what's the phrase I'm looking for? A cruel, power-hungry cunt. That's what she is. Sociopath, obviously. Because not only did she commit the act, okay, she had to put it in a book that the whole world would see and know about. She had to boast of it. That's the bad part. That's the part where you get into sociopath. Because, mate, there's a lot of us, you know, we've all done something in our life that we're not proud of, okay? Accidentally, whatever. This woman did it intentionally for cruel reasons and then boasted of it in a novel to get a certain person's attention. This entire book is for an audience of one. His name is Donnie Shitbags because she wants to be VP. That's why she did this. That's the whole reason for the book. And she probably didn't write a fucking word of it. I'm sure someone else wrote it. She just gave through a few ideas about her life and things she had done and things she wants out there. And the ghostwriter did the rest, I'm sure. This cunt ain't sitting down and writing a novel. She's got more important things to do, like shoot animals and try and get Donnie Shitbag's attention. So one more time before we get into this, because it only gets worse from here. She shoots her puppy because she didn't like it, is basically what it comes down to. And as if that's not bad enough, she has to put it in a novel and make sure the whole world sees it because she needs Donnie to see it. She needs Donnie to know she's a cruel cunt just like him. Anyway, so I talked about that the other day, and that's all everybody knew at the time. Everybody didn't know the rest of the story, the rest of the book. And as if that wasn't bad enough. This is by Rolling Stone. Kristi Noem is gunning for Biden's dog. Commander meet Cricket, the South Dakota governor wrote in her book, mentioning Biden's dog Commander. Noem has admitted that she shot her own dog, Cricket, when the pup was just 14 months old. I'm glad that's in there because I wasn't sure how old the dog was. I heard the term puppy. I went with it. 14 months old dog. So it wasn't an old dog that needed to be put out of its misery. Not by a long motherfucking shot. Here we go. After shooting her own dog, Kristi Noem now seems to be gunning for Joe Biden's pooch Commander. In a train wreck of an interview, exactly, Noem defended a passage where she seems to suggest Commander should be shot. Seems to suggest. She also defended her decision to remove a part of the book where she falsely claims she met North Korean dictator Kim Jong-un. Face the Nation host Margaret Brennan confronted South Dakota governor about a previously unreported passage of her upcoming book No going back. The truth on what's wrong with politics and how we move America forward. Here's what's wrong with politics. Real simple. Sociopaths in office, like Kristi Noem, like Matt Gaetz, like Bobo, like Margie, like Donnie. Sociopaths in office. That's the motherfucking problem. She didn't write about that, though. She proved she's one. How we move America forward, we get the sociopaths out of government. That's how we move America forward. Where no claim that Biden's dog Commander should meet her own deceased pup. Hold on, I gotta go to the next screenshot. Deceased pup Cricket, presumably in the afterlife. In the book, Noem wrote that she shot Cricket because she hated, that's in quotes, a Rolling Stone, a magazine, put something in quotes. That means they know it's true. They didn't make it up. Otherwise, their ass gonna get sued. Hated is in quotes the 14-month-old dog who she called dangerous. That's in quotes. And I didn't want to get into this story because I didn't want to pile on this bitch because I know the whole world's going to hate her forever just from this one story. Wait to hear the rest. Once I heard the rest, I'm like, this is just too, this proves everything I talk about every day. Where are we at? In the book, Noem wrote that she shot Cricket because she hated the 14-month-old dog who she called dangerous, that's in quotes, untrainable, in quotes, and less than worthless as a hunting dog, in quotes, after Cricket allegedly killed some chickens and moved to bite Noem. Yeah, sure. I don't believe the part where the dog tried to bite her. That's bullshit. Holy fuck, as if that's not bad enough, right? As if that's not enough where this cunt should be so ashamed of herself. She should be thinking about where she could go to hide out for about 10 years. Nope, not Kristi. Not Kristi with a K. Oh, God. At the end of the book, you say the very first thing you would do if you got to the White House that was different from Joe Biden is that you'd make sure Joe Biden's dog was nowhere on the grounds. Commander, say hello to Cricket. Are you doing this to try and look tough? Let me stop here for a moment. Commander meet Cricket. We all know what that means. Two disgusting things here. One, she's fantasizing about killing Joe Biden's dog. Two, she uses the killing of the puppy story earlier in the novel as a tie-in to the big ending, where she fantasizes about killing the president's dog. Yeah, that's the goddamn sociopath. And please don't argue with me. Save your dignity. Don't embarrass yourself. Please. Even if you're a bot or a troll, save your dignity, man. Yeah. I despise Donald Trump. I despise people like Alex Jones. You know, I could name a bunch of people I fucking despise, okay? What I do not do, though, because I'm not a sociopath, I don't lay around and fantasize about shooting Donald Trump's dog, shooting Alex Jones's dog, shooting Mike Cernovich's dog. Yeah, that's not me. I don't have that in me. Okay? This person that wrote this and put this out for the whole world to see is a straight up sociopath. And I guess I got to add some other names here and really make a point. Matt Gaetz, Marge Greene, Bobo, this Noem bitch, and many others. They belong in padded fucking cells, not in government, not out on the streets. These are sick, sick, sick fucking people. And this is the evidence. indisputable, inarguable. Don't even bother. Again, this is for an audience of one, Donnie shitbags. But using the I killed my puppy story because I didn't like him, or excuse me, hated him, as a tie-in to the big dramatic ending of the book where she gets to go to the White House with Donnie shitbags as vice president and shoot Joe Biden's dog. Are you fucking kidding me? This is the MAGA cult, baby. This is what I've been talking about for 8 fucking years. The sociopathy, the sickness, the vileness, the evil. It's, if you want to break it down to its lowest common motherfucking denominator, evil. That's what this is. And it's like a contest between these scumbags, Margie, Bobo, Kari Lake, Kristi Noem, to see who can catch the devil's eye. And the question the reporter asks is, are you doing this to try and look tough? If I was the reporter, God forbid for Kristi, I'd be like, Chris, you're pretty much saying here you want to shoot the president's dog. What's up with that? Oh, don't worry, she explains. Well, number one, this is Kristi talking. Joe Biden's dog has attacked 24 Secret Service people, Noem said. So how many people is enough people to be attacked and dangerously hurt before you make a decision on a dog and what to do with it? In other words, she's saying commanders should be put down for biting Secret Service agents. Because that's what Kristi would do. Kristi would do it if she just didn't like the dog. Or she was just in a bad mood one day. And that's not an exaggeration at all. That, yeah, that's the question I would ask her. You're saying the dog should be shot. And she's pretty much again saying, yeah, the dog should be shot at bit 24 Secret Service agents. You know what I think about Commander biting Secret Service agents? When I heard he bit the first Secret Service agent, I said, good doggy. And I never said good doggy. I call every dog bad. I called every cat I had bad. Just a cute thing. So when I heard Commander bit the first Secret Service agent, I said, good doggy. I like this. This is what I want to see. Because the Secret Service right now, I don't trust a goddamn one of them. They deleted all their text messages from the 6. It's all gone. That ain't one guy that did that. Obviously, there's a lot of Secret Service agents that don't like Joe Biden, don't like liberals, whatever you want to call it. They're on board with the MAGA thing. And guess what? Commander bit 24 of them. You know why? Because he knows. Because they traitors. That's why he bit their skank asses. He knows. I love this dog. He's not in the White House anymore, but if he was, I'd tell him, keep biting them motherfuckers every day. Let him know that you know what's up. So Noem is basically saying here that she thinks Commander should be put down. You know what I think? I think Noem's a sociopath. And Commander's doing what he should be doing, keeping the bad men away from Crazy Joe. That's what I like to see. They need to bring Commander back to the White House. Keep these service motherfuckers looking over their shoulder. I like that. I like it. Because half of them are fucking traitors. I don't know why Biden didn't get rid of every Secret Service agent when he took office. I would have had to do that because Donnie shitbags is a traitor. And a lot of them cater to him. They erase their text messages. That's all I need to hear. All of you, gone. Whole new staff. Can't trust a one of you. Sorry. Guess you should have left them messages intact, huh? Oh well, let's continue. Well, he's not living at the White House anymore, Brennan interjected. That's the anchor or the interviewer saying the dog's not at the White House anymore. Commander was removed from the White House and sent to live with other members of the Biden family after the German Shepherd bit Secret Service personnel on at least 24 occasions. Good doggy. Good dog. Give that dog a fucking sausage. Bite them fucking traitors. Let them know that you ain't letting them get near Crazy Joe. Let them know. That's a question that the president should be held accountable to, Noem replied. Nope, the dog's doing his job. I love it. I love it. You're saying Commander should be shot? Brennan asked incredulously. That's what the president should be accountable to. What is the number? Noem said. That's a stupid person when they use phrases like should be accountable to. She's just dumb. And she's just a MAGA grifter looking for power. Again, worthless to society. Should be in a padded cell. Sociopath. I'm just noticing her phrasing is very not intelligent. In another embarrassing exchange for Noem, Brennan asked about a passage in the book where the governor falsely claims she met Kim Jong-un. Here's the quote. I remember when I met with North Korean dictator Kim Jong-un, Noem wrote in her book. I'm sure he underestimated me. Having no clue about my experience staring down little tyrants, I'd been a children's pastor after all. Yeah, I feel sorry for those children that she was pastor for. Holy fuck. So, and her story is in the novel. Not only did she meet the dictator, but she stared down other little tyrants before. Yeah, that's believable. And she's just making up a story here out of thin air. It's just not true at all, as we'll see in a moment. Did you meet Kim Jong-un? Brennan asked Noem. Well, as soon as this was brought to my attention, I certainly made some changes and looked at this passage, and I've met with many, many world leaders, Noem said. Notice she doesn't name any. I've traveled around the world. As soon as it was brought my attention, we went forward and have made some edits. So I'm glad that this book is being released in a couple days and that those edits will be in place and that people will have the updated version. So this was her pre-book. This was her pre-promotion for her book. This train wreck of an interview. So you did not meet with Kim Jong-un? That's what you're saying, Brennan clarified. No, I've met with many, many world leaders, many world leaders. That sounds like Donnie Shitbags, doesn't it? Many people come up to me with tears in their eyes and say how great I am. That's Donnie Shit. There it is. Many, many world leaders. Many, many, many world leaders. Doesn't name a one, though. If you're going to deflect to a fucking name. Nope, no names. Just lies. No, I've met. So she didn't meet with Kim Jong-un. She's admitting it. And it took her, she had to talk for 2 minutes and give that thesis length excuse for her lie that, oh, we're looking at the book and we're making some edit. No, that's not what we asked you. So you lied about meeting Kim Jong-un? Oh, yes, I lied. Let's repeat that part. No, I've met with many, many world leaders, many world leaders. I've traveled around the world. I'm not going to talk about my specific meetings with world leaders. That's because there are none. Otherwise, she'd go to a name. I'm just not going to do that. This anecdote shouldn't have been in the book. Yeah, you put it in there, bitch. Why are you telling us it shouldn't have been in the book? You made up a story and you got caught. Shouldn't have been in the book, and as soon as it brought to my attention, I made sure that it was adjusted. Right. You mean as soon as you got caught, you made sure it was adjusted? Noem later clarified that she had never been to North Korea. Not only had she not met with Kim Jong or whoever, she wasn't even on the landmass of North Korea. But she had visited the Korean demilitarized zone. I don't even know if I believe that. South Korea is a treaty ally. North Korea is a nuclear armed adversary. So that's a pretty big thing to confuse. Brennan pointed out, adding, I know you read this book before it was published because you released video of your recording of the audiobook. You didn't catch these errors when you were recording it, so she can't play the game. Well, I didn't read the whole book. I didn't write the whole thing. No, she did an audio version of it in her voice. So she had to read every word. And here's what it comes down to. Again, she got caught. She completely fabricated a story in a novel about meeting the North Korean dictator in person and staring him down, and then claiming she has experience with staring down little tyrants. I mean, she really piles the bullshit on top. But, Kristi's a sociopath, so the lie can never be too big or too small or too detailed, right? So again, let's review, class, because I really want you to grasp the full complexity of the sociopathy. In the book that she knows the whole world is going to see and talk about on the news, she says she killed a puppy because she hated it. She says she wanted to shoot the president's dog. She fantasizes about that. Literally. And she lied her motherfucking ass off, completely fabricated a story. Not one shred of it was true. This isn't a benefit of the doubt kind of thing. She mixed up her words kind of thing. This is intentional lying, making up a story that did not happen. On top of the killing 2 dogs. One she didn't get the chance to kill. She would if she did get the chance, though. Because, that'd make her a hero in fucking Maga world or something. I don't fucking know. Who the fuck knows with these people? Well, that cruelty, that fanatical cruelty, again, it's for an audience of one. It's for Donnie shitbags. She wants to be vice president. She wants Donnie to pick her. She wants to be the apple of Donnie's eye. Let's continue. She took action to make sure it was reflected. Right. You're not taking responsibility for the mistakes in the book, Brennan later asked. I am saying that this book is very, very good, Noem responded. I've met with many world leaders. Here we go with the many world leaders again. And world leaders that I've met with that are in this book. How come she can't name one? Not one. I don't expect her to remember them all. One, please. There are many that I met with. She keeps lying. She keeps saying this over and over again that are not in this book. And this is an anecdote that I asked to have removed. It's not an anecdote, it's a lie. Because I think it's appropriate at this point in time. No, you got caught lying. So it has nothing to do with what you think's appropriate. You're embarrassed. You're ashamed. You look like a fool. But I'm not going to talk to you about those personal meetings that I've had with world leaders. Well, you've just mentioned that you've met with world leaders 67 times, though, but you can't name one. And you don't have to talk about what was discussed. You can just name one. These missteps in the book have cost Noem politically. They may have cemented Trump's decision not to choose her as VP. Yeah, how long till Donnie starts, distancing himself from her? because it's just not good for his numbers to have a puppy killer on the fucking ticket. It's like, look, honey, I'm a rapist. I'm a traitor. I committed espionage. I tried to overthrow the government. I got 18 court cases. I shit myself. I pissed my. What do you want from me, honey? I can't have a puppy killer on my fucking ticket. What do you want from me? Anyway, they're selling diapers with my name on them. Never mind. Never mind. We'll get to that later. Oh, decision to choose her as VP. Sources tell Rolling Stone Trump is disgusted. That's a quote, in quotes, disgusted that Noem shot cricket and led to the cancellation of her headlining at least one fundraiser. Do you know the Indian tribes in her state have banned her from going on the reservations? This was before the shooting puppy story came out, by the way. That's how much they despise her. In South Dakota, the Indian tribes are like, yeah, you can't even step foot on our land. That's how much of a cunt you are. Anyway, let me continue. Cancellation of her headlining at least one fundraiser. Noem was slated to speak at a Republican fundraiser in Colorado, but organizers canceled the event because it received numerous threats and or death threats. According to Jefferson County Republican Party Chair Nancy Pelosi. Now, I shouldn't have laughed there. I don't like death threats. I don't like that. I don't know. It's just, it's not good. I don't want anyone to be killed. I don't care how much I despise them. So that's not good. After all this, the no going back author may be wishing she could do just that. That's the end. I wanted to get the facts correct on this. That's why I read you the article, so you could hear it for yourself. Again, there is a contest to be the apple of Donnie's eye. There's several competitors. Kristi Noem is one. That's the whole reason this book was written. It's the whole reason the puppy killing story, the tie-in to the big dramatic ending where she shoots Biden's dog or she fantasizes about doing it. And then, the huge lie that she met the North Korean dictator that she completely fabricated and got caught. There's her. There's Uncle Tim Scott. He's a senator from South Carolina, I think it is. Uncle Tim will say and do anything, and a lot of people think Uncle Tim is gay. He pulled out some white woman all of a sudden after he was getting criticized every day because people thought he was gay. They're like, where's your wife? Where's your girlfriend? What's going on? All of a sudden he pulls this woman out the woodwork for a photo op. Now no one's ever really seen her anymore, and they're wondering what's going on. So here's another what seems to be closeted gay Republican. And what do we see right-wing politicians do all day, every day? Talk shit on gays. So the right-wing Republican closeted gays, and there are some like Lindsey Graham, in my opinion. If Lindsey ain't gay, no one is. I always say it. I never get tired of saying it. A lot of people believe Uncle Tim Scott is gay. So that makes him a traitor, not only to his race, but also to the gay community as well. By trying to be Donald Trump's running mate and saying and doing the things he's doing. So Uncle Tim's another one. Margie Sporkfoot would love the VP nod. Kari Lake would love the VP nod. There was one more I thought I can't think of right now. Those are the major contenders. Kari Lake, Kristi Noem, Margie Sporkfoot. I don't think Uncle Tim will get picked. But now Kristi Noem, she may have been a shoo-in. But now with the puppy killing thing, again, Donnie's, sitting there like, baby, what do you want me to do here? I got enough on my plate. Okay, and her publisher put out a statement at the request of Governor Noem. We are, and again, what's wrong with you people in South Dakota, except for the Indian reservations, because they despise her, so they're cool. I can see where they're coming from. The rest of you motherfuckers, this is what you vote for? Are you a sociopath? At the request of Governor Noem, we are removing a passage regarding Kim Jong-un from her book because she lied. No, I added that part. From her book, No Going Back, upon reprint of the print edition, and as soon as technically possible on the audio and ebook editions. Further questions about the passage should be referred to the author. So again, she lied. She got caught fabricating an entire story. It's not even remotely true. Not one shred of it. Completely fabricated, caught on live news television. And she's, we're taking it out, Now her publisher's saying, at her request, they're taking it out. Yeah, I don't know about that. The publisher might have said, yeah, you're making us look stupid. We're going to drop you. Again, it's a contest between Bobo, Margie Green, Kristi Noem, Kari Lake. Who can outvile each other? Who can catch Donnie's eye? Uncle Tim, who can catch Donnie's eye and get that VP nod? So they can be the running mate of a rapist, traitor, criminal who tried to overthrow the U.S. government. And not only did he try and overthrow the U.S. government, then he stole 3,000 classified documents. And more and more and more and more and more. And we're going to go on to some other things, but in a minute. Let me just put this iPad down for a second. I don't want to get off this. I want to make sure I've said everything. So it's not just them. And that's the example being set for everyone else involved in the right-wing grift. Ben Shapiro, Alex Jones, all those people. Trump sets the standard, the MAGA superstar set the standard, and the standard has been since 2015. If you don't kiss Donnie's ring, you're in trouble. And if you want to be Donnie's pick for something, you better do something to stand out. Evil, do something evil to stand out. So that's why you see Margie Sporkfoot and Bobo and Gates and different people on a daily basis try and say the most outrageous and vile thing. They want to catch Donnie's eye. They're doing it for the cult leader. And some of them want to be vice president. So that entire novel that some poor bastard had to write, because I know Kristi didn't write it, was for an audience of one. And that audience was Donnie shitbags. And in Kristi's sociopathic mind, she thought, I'll show Donnie how cruel I can be. I'll talk about in my novel, so it gets his attention, that I shot my puppy because I didn't like it. And then I'll tie that into the big dramatic ending where I fantasize about me and Donnie walking into the White House in 2025. And the first thing I do is shoot Joe Biden's dog. That'll get Donnie's attention. And my lie about Kim Jong-un will make people think I'm qualified to be vice president. Guess what? Bitch ain't qualified to be vice president. Not even close. I know for a lot of MAGA, being a sociopath is the only qualification you need to see. But that ain't, a sociopath ain't qualified to be vice president. You got to not be a sociopath. Kristi Noem's a sociopath. Margie Greene's a sociopath. Bobo, sociopath. Donnie Shitbags, sociopath. Gates, sociopath. and many, many more. And everybody talks about the problems with government and what they think they are. Here's the main problem with government. Too many sociopaths in positions of power because they have that naked ambition where they would stab their grandma in the back for that power. Kristi Noem's one of those people, as she proved so eloquently in her ghost-written, shitty novel, in hopes to catch Donnie Shitbag's eye and get on that ticket. I don't know what more evidence people need to see besides the behavior of Gates and Bobo and Greene and Noem to understand that what I say is the proper assessment of the situation. They're sociopaths trying to outvile each other and get the most attention in MAGA hero land and get the most, preferential treatment from Donnie Shitbags. I guess they haven't noticed that every single person that has worked with him, for him, did anything with him, has now been thrown under the bus in many ways. Many have gone to jail. Michael Cohen. Again, with the dictator, that's what people don't realize, that eventually everyone gets thrown under the bus. And I mean everyone. You're not special. You're not exempt. And my God, Donnie, from this point, 2015 till this point, my God, the trail of burnt bridges and motherfuckers with bus tire marks on them. People that were the greatest guy 1 minute or the greatest gal 1 minute, the next minute right under the bus. Over and over and over. Oh, people have lost their marriages for this MAGA thing for Donnie. Bobo lost her marriage. Margie lost her marriage. The Conways lost their marriage. This Noem thing, this novel, this attitude she has. I'm sorry, there's no greater evidence for what I've been talking about for 8 years. The sociopathy, the evil, the outright cruelty of this whole MAGA thing and the people involved in it. Not a damn one of them should be anywhere near public office. They belong in padded fucking cells. They are not right in the fucking head. Let's review one more time because I love to repeat myself. Does this sound right in the head to you? Shooting a puppy because you don't like the puppy. Fantasizing about shooting the president's dog. Completely fabricating a story in a novel so you can seem qualified to be vice president. And then again caught on live news television. Yeah, that don't sound sane to me. And doing it all for the attention of an orange-faced con man with a load of shit in his diaper. That's what she's selling her soul for. Again, person after person thrown under the bus. The list of names just goes on and on and on and on. Yet they all just, there's always another one next in line to, one, expose themselves as a sociopath. Two, go down in flames. Because everything Donnie touches dies. Everything. I don't know what else I can say regarding the Kristi Noem thing, to make my point that I've been trying to make for 8 years. I'm not just on camera here because I don't like Republicans or I don't like rich people or whatever the fuck, or I'm complaining for because I think it's a good time or you know what I mean? I'm saying this shit for a reason because it's fucking serious, man. And I hope I wake a few people up. If it's two people, whatever. I can only do what I can do. Uh, if this isn't evidence enough, what I just read you, what I just told you, that everything I've been saying for 8 years regarding this whole MAGA cult thing and the MAGA superstars and the kind of person that looks at all that and thinks it's a good thing and wants to be a part of it. Again, neighbors, friends, family members. Um, I learned a lot about everyone this past 8 years. If you can look at Donnie Shitbags or anything he stands for as good or worth your support, I question your character. I question your morality. It's not about political parties. It's about morality. I don't hate someone because they say they're a Republican. Or I don't kind of just automatically, I don't even know what the right phrase is. There's being a Republican and then there's being in a cult. It's become a cult if you bend the knee to Donnie Shitbags. If you support him in any way, you're now part of the cult, whether you want to be or not. And you're helping the cult's agenda go forward, and you're helping Vlad Putin's agenda go forward. And there's a million examples of how Donnie is owned by Vlad and how he conspired with Russia. Million example. National television, Russia, if you're listening. And guess what? Russia was listening. Because Donnie been doing business with Russia for decades. Of course they were listening. And they did what Donnie said. Very shortly after he said it. As far as I'm concerned, that's a communication across the airwaves to a foreign leader asking for his help. That's conspiracy right there, in my opinion. Whatever. I've said this a million times. Here's a screenshot of someone's comment. All you need to know about Donald Trump's mental state is that he thinks this looks natural. This is also what I've been saying. How do you take anyone seriously that walks out the house like that? How is that your God? How is that your savior? How is that anyone you respect in the slightest? How is that someone anyone takes seriously? I talked about the 2 inches behind the cheek to the hairline and to the ear. It's clown makeup, man. That's a clown, people. You want to know what a clown looks like? That's what a clown looks like. A clown leaves the house with orange face paint that doesn't even cover his face. He might as well have a fucking red nose on. So this is a joke I've made over and over and over again in my videos, and in comments. And apparently I'm not the only one out there that thinks this. That's why I'm showing it to you. Again, how do you take anyone like that serious? That's a crazy motherfucker. That person ain't right. There's something wrong. They would leave the house with an orange face. That bothers me. That's a problem for me. And that, I could build a whole tree from there of what else is wrong with the man. But anyway, just that simple. How do you take someone seriously that leaves their house in orange face every day? I can't. Unless I'm at the circus. You know? And here again, a joke I've made in the past 3, 4 videos. Here's a comment by someone on Twitter. MAGA went from Trump doesn't shit in his pants, stop lying. Those are the comments I've been seeing for years. Trump doesn't wear diapers, Biden wears diapers. Nope. Trump wears diapers. Anyway, MAGA went from Trump doesn't shit in his pants, stop lying to, okay, he definitely shits in his pants, so I guess we better own it. I've said the same thing in how many of the past videos. Again, so I'm not the only one that's thinking this stuff. Again, the mental gymnastics, it went from Donald Trump's head on Rambo's body, that's the way they were putting him for, to, okay, now diapers are cool. Now wearing diapers and shitting your pants is cool. That's where the cult, again, this person's saying the same thing I was just saying in the past 3, 4 videos. So I guess I ain't the only one noticing. What else we got here? Margie Sporkfoot. I tried to explain that Margie Sporkfoot, the reason they call her Sporkfoot or Margie Three Toes is because there is a picture of her and it appears she has 3 toes. I saw these pictures a long time ago and I was utterly disgusted. And I don't know if they've been photoshopped or what the fuck's going on here. But the photo popped up on my timeline today. So I'm like, hey, since I always mention this person and I mention why, first I'll show you the close-up of her feet. I don't know how well you'll be able to see it. This is why they call Margie Sporkfoot or Margie Three Toes. It's worse than the Bates Motel. Here's the picture of Margie standing next to, is that Mike Flynn, the traitor? Here's Margie Sporkfoot, congressman from Georgia. And I believe that's Mike Flynn. I could be wrong. There's so many traitors to choose from. And then you can see her feet, like, see that? Yeah, so that's why they call Margie Sporkfoot. And again, I don't know for sure if she's only got 3 toes. You know, I ain't giving her foot massages. I don't fucking know. And of course, let's end it with one of my favorite subjects to talk about, Tesla. Here's another one, and I find 100 of these stories on Twitter a day. Here's a person who bought a Tesla. I love my Tesla, but I also regret buying it. Reserved November 21 for $114,000. Did you hear me, people? $114,000. Do you know what kind of car you can get for $114,000? Oh my! If you don't waste it on a Tesla. Oh my God. Anyway, took delivery August 22. Tesla raised prices twice over the preceding 6 months, and it was worth $135,000 when I took delivery. Win! I'm so smart. Value 3 months later, $80,000. Value today, I refuse to check. In other words, he doesn't even want to know what it's worth today because it's going to make him cry. Because he paid, what was it? 112, 114. Will he get 114 for it if he sells it, or 100,000? Nope. Might only get 50. Um, there's something I neglected to say when I talk about Tesla. There's two things that'll make your life easier, much easier, much less stressful. Two things. Two. Never trust Elon Musk and never buy a Tesla. Lot less stress in your life. Way less. Cost you a lot less money too. And if you shell out 114 for a non-Tesla, you're probably going to get your money's worth. You know, you go down to Mercedes or BMW or Land Rover or Toyota, or, you know, Toyota's got some, you know, Supra for like 60. They got the Toyota Crown now, a little bit nicer car. You know, you get some nice shit for 114, man, if you didn't waste it on a Tesla. But, you know, so many people, they don't listen. And here's two other people. I love my Tesla, but can't say I don't regret buying it sometimes because of Musk. And that's another thing. You know, you got a lot of liberal and progressive people that bought these cars because they care about the environment. They thought they were doing a good thing for the environment. And then Elon goes all right-wing MAGA on them. Racist as fuck, anti-Semitic, all kinds of shit. So now they feel like jerk-offs. Now they look like jerk-offs. Anyway. Here's another one. You better do something about the quality of service support for Tesla owners. I love my Y, but regret buying it after seeing how Tesla made unkept promises to me and reaction or lack of it to cars catching fire and steering wheels pulling off. Yes, these are the kind of problems people are having. Everything you can think of. I saw two videos of two regular Tesla cars, two different cars, 2 different days. They went through a puddle at a little bit high rate of speed, not super fast, but a little bit high rate of speed. Back bumper or back end of the car came off from the water. That's not supposed to happen. I've had some cheap ass, old ass cars. I've had Toyotas, Nissans, low-end cars. That never happened. And I've gone through, you know, sometimes you go through some deep water by accident. Maybe you don't see it coming at too fast of a speed. And a lot of water's getting under the car at once. Never has the entire back plastic bumper, whatever you want to call that, come off. I saw 2 separate Tesla videos over this past year where the whole back bumper thing from the water going under the car right off. So yeah, steering wheels problems, other things coming off, bolts not tightened. You know, the shit's being rushed out there again because all Elon cares about is the stock price. He does not care about putting out a quality product. And there's, again, 100 of these I see a day, different Tesla problems with the Cybertruck, the regular models, everything. I could sit here and read them all night to you. And I've come to the conclusion with all these Tesla stories, the Cybertruck especially. Again, a lot less stress in your life. Dr. Nick is here for you. You don't need a pill. You don't need 9 months of therapy. This is all you need. A lot less stress in your life. You'll be so calm. Never trust Elon Musk. Never buy a Tesla. I ain't against electric cars. Buy a different one. Personally, if I was going to go that route, start going that way, I would buy a Toyota hybrid. I have a feeling eventually all cars made by Toyota will be hybrid. I'd probably go for something like that instead of full electric. But, you know, I dig the electric cars too. Just not Teslas, because all I've been reading for years is problems with these cars, especially the past couple years. And what happened the past couple years? Well, dumbass Elon pulled together some Saudi money, some Russian money, and some of his money, and decided to buy Twitter and prove on Twitter how cool of a guy he is, when all he's proven is he's a fucking douchebag. And he wanted to make money with Twitter while ruining it at the same time. Because that's the goal. Indisputable. Don't argue it. He wanted to make a profit while he ruined the greatest communication platform that existed at the time. Guess what? He didn't make a profit either. So in his quest to prove how cool he was, one, how much of a genius he was, how great of a guy he was, and make a profit by ruining one of the most beloved websites in modern times. He only proved himself an utter douchebag, and he didn't make a dime. In fact, both companies are losing money. Hand over fucking fist. Advertisers running, amount of cars sold going down every month. Shoddy workmanship. Dumbass talking to white supremacists and different right-wing podcasters on, again, the second richest man in the world. He's talking to Ian Miles Chong and shit. I wouldn't give these people the time of day. These racist right-wing grifters. Are you fucking kidding me? Yeah, a genius would look at those people as clowns, not as compatriots. Are you kidding me? And Nick Fuentes, he just let him back on the website. Utter anti-Semite and racist. And he wonders why the advertisers leave. I don't know, maybe corporations in America don't want their ads next to Holocaust deniers, you know what I mean? Maybe they don't like that. Maybe that ain't good for business. You fucking child. I get thrown off of websites, but motherfuckers that deny the Holocaust get paid on Twitter. Or paid on, you know, maybe not YouTube, but ridiculous. But I'm the threat to society, right? Yes, so in his quest to prove how cool he was, he only proved he's a douche. And all he's doing is losing some of his money and losing Saudi money and losing Russian money. I've said this before, he could have just sat back and kept selling defective cars and no one would have cared. And he would have had that mystique of being Elon and all that bullshit. Nope. He had to put himself in the forefront of the conversation and expose himself as a fraud, douchebag, liar. Every single sentence that man ever types or says out loud is cringe as fuck. And he doesn't know how to remotely even pretend that he's fucking human. It's hard to watch. And I blocked his punk apartheid ass a long time ago. That's another thing his bitch ass did. Someone started a trend on Twitter one day, months and months ago. Block Elon. So people mass blocked him. Well, when you mass block someone, their reach gets very limited. You know, the more you get blocked by people, the less reach you have on the website. So his reach got just decimated. And, you know, that's the whole reason he bought it, to prove how cool he was. He wanted everyone to be force-fed his bullshit attempts at wisdom. He does this all the time. He tries so hard. He wants to come off as some wise guru so bad. And his attempts are always utterly and desperately cringe. And it's pathetic to watch. And my God, the pictures of him lately, he's so out of shape. Like, dude, you're the second richest man in the world. could have the best personal trainers, eat the best food. Like, I don't get it. I dream of shit like that, to be able to have a nice big house where I have a whole wing that's just a gym. You know what I mean? Where I got all the equipment that's in a fucking gym. You know what I mean? I'd be happy as a motherfucker if I had that. And you would never see me out of shape. Never. I don't get it, man. I don't get it. Again, he could have just stayed back and not put himself at the center of the conversation, because in his mind, he's so cool and wise, and he just knew people would love him. Well, guess what? They didn't love him. They mass blocked him. So his reach got throttled. He flipped out on the engineers that run the website and said, "You better fix this." He flipped out. He put tweets out to the effect that his reach got throttled because of the mass blocking. Again, second richest man in the world. He's worried about his reach on Twitter. $200 billion, I guess it can't buy you a life, huh? Can't buy you character, can't buy you personality. You know what else is kind of funny? Elon had to pay $1 million to fuck Amber Heard. Johnny fucked her for free. In fact, in the end, the bitch owe him money. So who's the cool one? Yeah, shit like that, man. Oh, and you know, the video I did, I don't know how many videos back, where he pretended to be a small child under a fake account, which he admitted in court. And in that fake account, while he was pretending to be a small 3-year-old, 4-year-old, whatever, pretending to be a small child, he made up a scenario where his ex-wife's child that they had together must want to be around the Tesla guy all the time. He must hate his mother. This, again, second richest man, he had to admit in court that he was going around Twitter pretending to be a small child. Not only that, talking shit on the mother of his child as a small child. Again, people, sociopath. Sociopath. Say it with me. Sociopath. Say it, class. This man is in charge of government contracts. Elon Musk, do you hear me? This man is in charge of Starlink. This man is in charge of satellites. This man gets tons of government taxpayer money. Otherwise, none of his businesses would be even remotely a success. And he's pretending to be a small child on Twitter and talking shit on the mother of his child. And he's snapping on engineers when people mass block him because he's a straight up douchebag. He's got nothing of any value to say about anything. I've never been impressed once by the man when I've heard him speak. But again, if he would have never put himself in the forefront, and if he wouldn't have tried to ruin a website that so many people love for his own purposes, just to get tax cuts, that's all it's all for. I wouldn't know any of this shit about him. I wouldn't know he's a douchebag. I wouldn't know he's a sociopath. I wouldn't know, as SpaceX, they called him the Child King, the one they would have to whisk out of the room and distract to make any progress on anything. I didn't know that. And he's only got himself to blame. The same thing with Donnie's shitbags. He could have just sat back and continued money laundering his whole life and bankrupting businesses and stiffing contractors and threatening people with legal action and cheating on his wives and cheating at golf, and nobody would have bothered him. Nobody would have known what he really is, except for, the people in New Jersey and New York. We all knew what he was. The rest of the country didn't. I can't blame them. If he just would have kept on doing what he was doing, and he just couldn't resist that grift. And again, he's been trying to get in there since the 1980s. He's been talking about being president because he knew that was the ultimate grift. Then he makes the rules for business, for taxes, etc., for rich people. If he just would have continued on leading his criminal life, his despicable life, and not put himself at the center of attention and at the center of the conversation by running for president, he wouldn't be facing all these court cases. We wouldn't know how much of a criminal he is, at least to people outside of New York and New Jersey. They brought it all on themselves. All the heat, because the president, let's be honest, the most scrutinized individual on the planet, the president of the United States. So everyone's going to dig into everything they can find, and you're going to get exposed, and there ain't shit you can do about it. So if you got skeletons in your closet and you're running for president, you better expect one day them skeletons going to come out. So, it comes down to that. If Donnie shitbags and Elon would have just kept living their fraud of a life, they would have still had the mystique of the people they were pretending to be. Again, Donnie pretending to be a billionaire for so many years. Yet the second the fines come in, he can't pay any of them. Not only that, when he goes to bond lenders and stuff like that, they don't even have the money. They're a scam too. All a grift, all a lie. And I guess the real point with this video I want to make, let me get off of Elon for a moment and Trump specifically. This whole MAGA thing, the whole Trump cult, the turn the right-wing politicians and right-wing machine has taken toward fascism, towards making deals with Russia, towards doing Russians' bidding on the world stage and here at home. The sociopathy, the violence, the illness. These are dangerous people. These are people that are not well in the head. That's the point I want to make. And Kristi Noem shooting her dog, wanting to shoot Joe Biden's dog, making up a complete fabrication about meeting Kim Jong-un and getting caught red-handed. That's the proof that these people are vile sociopaths, and they don't care what they have to say or do to get that power they're yearning for, or to get their team the victory. I'm talking about the low-end cultists. They'll shoot people, they'll assault people, they'll lie, they'll dress like clowns, they'll wear diapers, they'll defend shitting their pants or shitting your pants or Donnie shitting his pants. They'll storm the Capitol at Donnie's direction. They'll defend someone who's a rapist, who steals 3,000 classified documents. That's doing damage to their country. these rubes, these low-end cultists that have no fucking clue. When you sell classified documents, there's a chance undercover people may die because of that. CIA agents, FBI agents, spies for the United States, assets, as in human assets, the CIA has overseas. So selling classified information isn't just selling classified information to make money. It gets people killed. It makes our country weaker when you steal and sell state secrets. It damages all of us. Do the Rubes care? Of course not. It's just their team's got to win. And they don't got to care what they got to do or say to do it. And that goes all the way up the chain. And Kristi Noem just proved it. And this is not the only example. There's a million examples I've been talking about for 8 years. Examples of the sociopathy. And remember what Donnie did when there was a protest near the White House. He had the crowd gassed, beaten, so he could walk over by a church and hold the Bible upside down. Funny thing, the MAGA crowd that was there on 1/6, they didn't get that treatment. Wonder what the difference was. Oh, that's right. Donnie wanted to overthrow the government that day using his cult members because they're stupid. And he knows that. He knows how dumb they are. And that's why he made sure they're the ones that did the dirty work, and he was chilling, watching it on TV with a Diet Coke and a Big Mac. And again, you notice only the low-end rubes went to jail. All you rubes that did his bidding that day. Did any of you notice that? I did. But, you were warned. You didn't listen. You're all grown men and women, and you chose to do that. And then you wondered why you're on no-fly lists and being treated like a terrorist, because you were terrorists that day. That's why. You were enemy combatants of the United States that day. Terrorists, traitors, whatever label you want to put on it. That's the contrast, again, between the two men, Biden and Trump. Trump has crowds gassed, beaten, so he can go hold a Bible upside down. Not that he gives a fuck about the Bible or Jesus or anything in the Bible. Biden would never do that. Ever. So, do you ever ask yourself the question why the one crowd that day got gassed and beaten for the Bible photo op, but the crowd on 1/6 didn't get gassed and beaten? They got the kid glove treatment. And a bunch of cops almost died. And a bunch of congressmen almost died. So again, all of these things I'm mentioning, these are examples of the sociopathy, of the cult behavior and mentality, and the type of people that are in the MAGA cult and that endorse the MAGA cult. Even some of the rich fucks with a lot of money really believe this MAGA stuff. Some of them, like Mike Lindell. He's ruined his whole business for this MAGA thing. It's crazy. That's another example of a guy that would blow his fortune in hopes of some weird Donald Trump utopia. Unbelievable the lengths to go. And I noticed it all the way back at the beginning. I noticed this cult thing starting to form. That's when I got scared. That's when I got on YouTube and I'm like, I got to talk about this. And I'm like, I know I don't have a following. I'm nobody. I have to get on there and talk about this. This is something big. This is wrong. Something is wrong here. All of a sudden, people are taking Donnie shitbag seriously. A person who was a Democrat his whole fucking life, friends with the Clintons, friends with Epstein. All of a sudden, they're taking him seriously, a serious presidential candidate, because he's run before. No one took him seriously. He was a joke, and he should have always been a joke. It's nothing but a grift for him. Doesn't care about any of you people. Any of you. All the way back in the beginning, I noticed this wave starting to build. I couldn't believe it that it got to the point where Donald Trump, the clown, was being taken seriously. The grifter. That made me get on YouTube and start talking about shit. And I thought Donnie was a certain thing. And I told people that. And the certain thing I thought Donnie was, that certain thing would have done exactly what Donnie did when he lost re-election. Refused to give up office, tried to overthrow the government. It's exactly what that thing would do. Now we've got a weird situation here, and I'm glad I thought of this before I shut it down. There's a pattern in the history of tyrants. Not all of them, some of the most notable ones. Adolf Hitler and Saddam Hussein. And Saddam Hussein was a vile motherfucker. Dictator. Anyway, both Hitler and Saddam Hussein were part of a movement to overthrow their governments when they were young men. They both got put in jail for a while. Then they were let back out. What happened after they were let back out? Well, Saddam brought Iraq to ruin, and Hitler brought Germany to ruin. The very people that enabled him and empowered him at first brought them to ruin. Everyone suffered. Even the most ardent sycophants. Even the ones that licked balls the most. Now, Donnie's case, I forgot about Napoleon as well. Another great example. Was in power, got taken out of power, exiled, came back, put in power again. Brought France to ruin, brought his army to ruin, thought he can invade Russia in the winter. Didn't work out. You don't invade Russia in the winter. No one. Ever. You better get out before winter hits. Three very notable figures in history that brought their countries to utter ruin. All tried to not necessarily overthrow their governments, but because Napoleon didn't do that I know of. But the story is still similar. It's the story of people that get power and then lose it and then kind of get it back. Hitler and Saddam, again, they fail in their coup attempts against their governments. Then eventually they become the leaders of their countries because they weren't kept in jail or they weren't executed or whatever. Donnie shitbags. Now we got a similar story like Napoleon. Donnie was in power. Then he lost the election. Then he tried to overthrow the government. He had to try to stage a coup against the country. He failed. Now he's in exile down in Mar-a-Lago. Just waiting on the edges to get back in power again. There's a possibility it might happen. Why do I think that? Because it's happened before in history. Here's the thing with Donnie, though. They didn't even put him in jail. And he tried to overthrow the government. Stole classified documents, most likely sold them, because I don't know why anyone would steal 3,000 classified documents to not sell them. What other reason is there to take 3,000 classified documents? So please, we're not children here. There is no other reason. Anyway, like I said in the last video, metastasize. We're letting this thing hang around and metastasize. That's what they did with Adolf Hitler. That's what they did with Saddam Hussein. Look where it got them. So if this fucker somehow manages to get back in power, which could happen because there's a weird kind of evil with this, a weird kind of evil and a pattern that I've seen before in history. That's why I know it's so dangerous. All the way back in 2015, I knew why it was so dangerous. I saw the cult mentality. I saw this kind of weird momentum. It was bigger than politics. That's what I used to say all the time. What I talk about is bigger than politics. And it is. So I'm concerned about a Napoleon type situation where someone was in power once, or a Hitler. He's kind of a Napoleon combined with Hitler Saddam. Tried to overthrow the government, didn't get incarcerated long enough or executed or whatever's supposed to happen to abject traitors that try and overthrow the government. I don't know what the law is. Letting them hanging around, metastasized. So now is he magically going to get back in there again and bring our country to ruin? To where even the rubes say at the end of all this, and this is what I used to say all the way back in the beginning in 2015, by the end of this, even the rubes and the cultists, everyone will be weeping. And even the cult and the rubes will be saying, oh my God, what have we done? Now, we've already seen many moments like that already. A lot of the rubes, not a lot, a percentage of the rubes woke up during Donnie's presidency. They saw what a vile individual he was. Then more left him after they saw January 6th. But who knows what type of bullshit could be pulled? They tried to overthrow the government last time. And, you know, if we want to make comparisons again and who's evil and who's wrong and who's not and who's a traitor and who's not. When Hillary Clinton lost, did she incite a mob to go storm the Capitol? No. When Al Gore lost, did he incite a mob to go storm the Capitol? When Obama had to leave office after 8 years, did he incite a mob to go storm the Capitol so he can remain a dictator? Nope. Only Donnie. Donnie's special. Always imagine, as you're defending Donnie's shitbags, always ask yourself the question when you're coming up with your defense or spouting off your defense of Donnie's shitbags and whatever criminal act or treacherous act he committed. Ask yourself before you make the argument, what if Obama did it? What if Obama did it? What if Obama staged a coup? What if Obama stole 3,000 classified documents? Would you be defending him? Nope. You'd want him strung the fuck up. There'd be right-wingers out on the streets demanding justice if Obama staged a coup to stay in power for a third term. Or if Obama stole 3,000 classified documents and got caught red-handed. You know what you motherfuckers would be saying. You'd be saying, hang that motherfucker. Just like you were saying on January 6th about Mike Pence. Mike Pence is a great example of being thrown under the bus. His own vice president. He threw Mikey Pence right to the wolves. Mikey Pence is the reason I'm not going to get to stay president. Blame him. Perfect example. No greater sycophant than Mike Pence. Mike Pence would have licked Donnie's shoes if he asked him to. What happened to him? Right to the fucking wolves when it mattered. When there was a mob outside with torches and pitchforks incited by Donnie. Perfect example. So, these Kristi Noem, Margie, Bobo, Kari Lake, they're all fighting so hard for that future to be that vice president. Guess what's going to happen to you? Guess what happened to the last vice president that Donnie had? He tried to get the cult to hang that motherfucker. Because he wouldn't help Donnie install himself as a dictator. So keep fighting, idiots. How many people that used to be respected and had money and clout and could show their faces in public can't anymore because they bent the knee to Donnie shitbags and got thrown under the bus or got disbarred or lost tons of money like Fox News and other people. People that invested in his scam-ass True Social where the stock plummeted like 90 points in a fucking week. You fucking idiots. You fucking idiots. That's all money laundering, baby. He don't care if True Social makes a profit. He don't care about you idiots invest. It's a way to move money back and forth. What do you think casinos are? It's a way to move money around and launder shit. Come on. Every business he's involved in. You don't want to make a profit? Money laundering. Let me make this last point and get the fuck off. The sociopathy, the evil, it's quite evident. And it's why I've been talking about this since 2015. I've been trying to warn people. Again, how absurd it is and how dangerous it is. And this is not normal times. There's something behind the scenes or something going on here on a bigger level. And I almost wonder if it's a test to see which side everyone falls on. Because I don't understand how human beings can look at Donnie shitbags and what he's done and said and what's been revealed about him and say, yeah, I'm on board with that. I'm on board with Kristi Noem shooting her puppy in the face because she didn't like it. I'm on board with Donnie raping E. Jean. I'm on board with Donnie saying he just grabs women by the pussy because he can get away with it. I'm on board with Donnie beating and gassing crowds so he can hold the Bible up upside down. Again, it's revealed a lot about our neighbors and friends and family. And I wonder if it's a test. And if it is a test, a lot of fucking people failed it big time. Some just in service of, well, I vote right wing. That's just what we do. You could put Satan up. I got to vote right wing. That's what I do. That's a problem for everybody, even for you, the person voting for Satan. Because guess what? Satan gonna come for you too. He comes for everybody. And Donnie shitbags is one of the closest things to Satan I've ever seen. Incarnated as a human being. Adolf Hitler, Vlad Putin, Donnie shitbags. Donnie didn't have the benefit of an authoritarian style government. Vlad has that. President Xi has that. Adolf had that. So they got to kill a lot more people. But it's still the same person, character-wise, the same sociopath. I mean, it's just come out recently, and it's come out before, where Donnie has said, can't we just shoot illegal migrants that come to the border? And the people told, no, we can't do that, Donnie. Now go get your diaper changed and have your binky. Can we just shoot these protesters in the leg? No, we can't do that, Donnie. Now go get your diaper changed and have your binky. I'm not exaggerating. These are real conversations the president of the United States had with staff members. It's all come out. It's all public. It's not a secret. These sociopaths have no business in government, and I dare say they have no business in society. They really should be locked in padded rooms. You know, I'm serious. They're dangerous people. And we give them, you know, or others give them the most important jobs there are, governor, president. Not me, because I didn't vote for Kristi Noem. I didn't vote for Donald Trump. You know, these people don't just get in power on their own. A lot of people have to enable it. And again, the sociopathy, the evil, that's why I talk about it. It's fucking dangerous. Kristi Noem, Marjorie Greene, Matt Gaetz, Bobo, Donald Trump, Bill Barr. I could name so many. Mitch McConnell. Ugh. Sociopaths that have no business in government. Offer nothing to society. Dangerous. I guess I'll end it by saying this. It's not about team sports. It doesn't matter what political party. If Biden had done any of this shit, I'd be saying the same fucking thing. But he didn't. If Biden inspired this kind of cruelty from people, a contest of cruelty to catch his eye, I'd be saying the same thing. So again, it's bigger than that. It's bigger than political party. It's bigger than, well, I vote right all my life. That's what I do. Or I vote, you know, I vote left all my life. That's what I do. No. Once in a while, a motherfucker comes along and you got to say, you know what? I'm going to have to go with the other side for like 8 years. Get this motherfucker out of here. He's a sociopath. He's not fit to govern. We need to get this orange fuck out of here. And once he's gone and out of the picture, I'll start voting right wing again. That's what you need to do. And if it was Biden, if the script was flipped, I'd be voting Republican in a heartbeat. Because it's about country over party. This isn't a team sport. It's the future of our country. And one more time, what happened with Adolf Hitler, the dictator that some people wanted, some people, you know, thought was advantageous for them at the time? Their country was decimated. Germany, I'm talking about. Taken over by other nations, America and Russia. The spoils were split in half. France, totally fucked up by Napoleon. Russia, damn near a third world country in a lot of it because of Vlad Putin and his buddies that got to steal every dime. Palestine, a fucking wasteland because Hamas steals all the fucking money. And then no one gives a fuck about infrastructure. They just give a fuck about who can dip their hand in a cookie jar and be the richest terrorist. Who else did I mention? Saddam Hussein, his country fell to ruin. That's partly because of the United States. The CIA used to use Saddam Hussein as an asset back in the day. But when the CIA uses you as an asset, eventually they turn you into the enemy of the world. That was evident with what's his name, Oswald. That was evident with Saddam Hussein, because at one time Iraq was our buddy. Then they turned him into the enemy of the world. But again, it's still an example of a dictator, to where his country ends up in ruins after his reign. That's my point. So when you look at this as a team sport, you're doing a disservice to yourself and your country. And you could possibly end up like Germany in 1945. And that's not a joke. That's not an exaggeration. That's what happens when you have a sociopathic autocrat in charge every time. So it's bigger than politics. It's about morality, not team sports. It's about country over party. And if you really care about your country, it would bother you when your president tries to interrupt the peaceful transition of power and install himself as a dictator. It should also bother you when the president steals 3,000 classified documents and most likely sells some of them. If you're really a patriot, if you really care about your country, if it's not just team sports to you. I don't know what else to say. I hope everyone has a good night.